we've got a very good one today. I'm pretty sure by now everybody in the world over has heard about what Trump has done when he was honoring 3 Marine Corps veterans a couple days ago. If nobody has heard of it, basically what he did was he was acknowledging their service and praised them. And during that process, he says something to the extent of, "Oh, but you know, there's some people who are fakes, you know, like Pocahontas." And so everybody went in a shitstorm on Twitter, on Facebook, on YouTube, everywhere. Everybody's a little upset. The media, the mainstream media, really took it the hardest, basically calling it offensive. Now, I'm here to detract a lot of the supposed offensiveness of that comment, with a couple of examples, and then going back to what the real issue is. So, first and foremost, let's go ahead and go directly into one of the actual servicemen. He was apparently Joshua Green. He's from he's a CNN political analyst, or I think that's what he is. He ended up stopping and finding Thomas Begay, who was one of the servicemen that was being honored that day, and asked him for his thoughts, or I don't know what the conversation was, but Green ended up tweeting out that Begay was not offended by it. He was just puzzled, merely just puzzled about the whole scenario, and he was puzzled by it, but didn't take any offense to it. And he said, you know, we always use the word Geronimo, you know, as we're, you know, exiting airplanes, so no biggie. So I mean, that's like +1 for Trump right there. You know, it's like people are making a big deal out of this. I will hand it to Green. Thank you for your honesty on that. That's you know, that's, and it being CNN, I mean, kudos. That's you guys win one there. The honesty there was appreciated. Now, okay, so if that wasn't enough, we have, I think it's the Pocahontas, the person who voices Pocahontas in the cartoons. Like now we used to ask people we used to ask actors for what they thought of political commentary and try to get their opinions to persuade the public. Now we're getting down to the bottom barrel and asking voiceover actors. So it's getting really ridiculous. Well, anyways, this lady, she, I don't know her name, I can't remember it, probably not important, but the lady who voiced Pocahontas apparently had said that it was very degrading and offensive that President Trump did that. Well, here's the kicker. A real descendant of Pocahontas, her name is Debbie White Dove Custalo, and I think that was her birth name, but now I think she's Debbie White Dove Porreco or something like that. Anyways, so now I'm gonna go ahead and bring up what she said. I'll say it right now. She basically has no issue with Trump saying this, calling her off on calling Elizabeth Warren, you know, a total hack, basically defending Trump's position and stance with that statement. Here's the kicker, though, and it's a little bit of a mixed thing for me. She lives near the Mar-a-Lago estate, where Trump, you know, obviously owns, and so there's a little bit of a tinge of a bias there for me to even kind of escalate this as being like a win. But in essence, it kind of is. You know, if these are her beliefs, you know, she was raised, I don't know what the word is, Mattapony, the Mattapony reservation, and her dad was chief there, and she was the youngest of 9 children. And apparently, from what I've read, her dad worked, you know, every day from 3 a.m. to like, I don't know, 2 p.m. or something. He worked long hours to make ends meet for that family, and they grew up poor. I'm pretty sure I definitely can relate to that. But so that's where the bias for me kind of is okay, because her, and again, I guess I'm using 2 totally stupid reasons as to why I am going to believe her sincerity in and approval of Trump basically calling out Elizabeth Warren by using that term. Basically, she said that Pocahontas would have been proud of Trump. I think I'm going to tend to agree with that. You know, if it seems that Debbie came from a poverty-stricken background to be and married into, I think the word here is married into a successful, you know, family. I think her husband owned a Chevy or a Ford dealer, or a couple of Chevy or Ford dealerships, and now I think he owns the biggest one in wherever state they live. So, but not to say she didn't work her, you know, throughout her career. You know, she, for 10 years she was in the airline industry. I'm not sure what she did in there, but, you know, I think it sounds to me like she understood the values of hard work ethics and whatnot, you know, and didn't play the victim card. And this is where I appreciate her defense of Trump's words, and how she does believe that Pocahontas would be favorable of Trump. I believe it. So that kind of leads me into the very last thing. We have to ask ourselves now, okay, now that we're done dealing with this BS of everybody getting offended, or the majority of people getting offended that Elizabeth Warren is being referenced as Pocahontas, as a tease name by Donald Trump. That is not the issue. The actual issue here, everybody is glossing over, that does need to be addressed, that Elizabeth Warren is not addressing. Why are you hiding access to your college information? You know, and also, you are the aggressor and the oppressor. It's not Trump. You oppressed actual Indians. If you don't want to open up your documentation, you actually, there's obviously a symbol, there's obviously a sign in there of something very bad, I assume, and she'll be called out for it. I'm not sure if she's trying to be a front runner in the next upcoming presidential election or not, but you're basically the one who's in the bad here and in the wrong, and we're getting pissed off at Trump for name calling, but we're not getting pissed off at Elizabeth Warren for actually being the offensive one and the one who is oppressing actual Indians from succeeding. There could have been somebody else who could have used her the monies that she was awarded when she went to college. That is actually Native American. That could actually prove it. I think she is a robber in that sense. You know, she has done more, in my opinion, to offend the Native Americans by faking it, by using false credentials to get herself to where she's at, than Trump is doing by name calling her Pocahontas. You know, take that 2 cents in, and I hope that information does help, because people are not complaining about that. Share this if you want to. I don't think it's, I think the information I've given is pretty accurate. I'm sorry if I'm rambling a little bit and a lot, but I do think that this needs to be put out there. So I'll be uploading it shortly. Like and subscribe if you can. Share this with your friends, family, YouTube, whatever, Twitter, BitChute, and we'll go from there. All right, peace.